Hi everyone, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. Poor Anthony Mackie. And by poor Anthony Mackie, I mean, I really don't care. Once upon a time I would have. Nowadays, not so much. Not after what he's been spewing. We'll go into that momentarily. But he's recently been interviewed by Variety. He was asked about the relationship between him and Bucky in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There wasn't any relationship other than platonic male friends. And of course, his common sense answers have been met with huge backlash from the exceedingly tolerant alphabet community on Pride Month particularly, but that doesn't matter. That's just by the by. So let's just get into a couple of establishing things first. I used to really like Anthony Mackie. I don't dislike him now, but I don't have particularly any time for him anymore. I've really enjoyed him as Falcon throughout the years. I've watched all those movies. I've watched a lot of behind the scenes interviews with the Marvel cast because there's a lot of great personalities there, a lot of great actors there, and they're very interesting to watch. And somebody who's very interesting to watch is Anthony Mackie. He's really charming. He's very confident. He's very funny. And so it's always cool. It's always nice to watch people like that. It's very entertaining to watch people like that. Sadly, I say sadly, in recent times, he's seemingly bought into this whole CRT business and is now espousing crap like America doesn't represent black people and all that sort of bullshit. You know, a millionaire actor who has made his career and done very well for himself. No, he's actually a victim. You know, I find all that stuff just such bullshit and so disingenuous coming from people who have made a success out of themselves and are surrounded by people of all different orientations and colors and ethnicities, etc., who have made a massive success of themselves, then claiming victimhood. Out of here. I'm back to being a Christian channel again. Sorry. No naughty words from me. My Loki review got yellowed by YouTube for potty mouth. So anywho, what's the big hoo-ha now? Well, let's just have a look at this headline from Bounding Into Comics. Anthony Mackie rejects shippers' fantasies that Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes are romantically involved. Well, that's absolutely correct that you should do that because they're not. They're not romantically involved. They never have been romantically involved. They never will romantically be involved. Well, until July of next year when Marvel just turns the whole universe gay. Because that's what Marvel are going to do. So, he was interviewed by Variety. And he was questioned about the relationship between him and Bucky. And he actually came out with what I think is an exceedingly good answer. So I'm going to go into that. So they say, let's just get back to the point where they sort of ask him. The other half of Sam's journey on the show is a transformation of his relationship with Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, from simmering resentment to a lasting and profound friendship. I mean, even Variety say it. These are a couple of people that butted heads when Steve Rogers was around, and now Steve Rogers isn't around. They're actually trying to find some commonality, and the commonality that they had was Captain America, and through that, they started to form a friendship, a bond. That translated into several scenes of emotional and physical familiarity. Oh my God. Sam and Bucky that have some fans, between Sam and Bucky, that have some fans interpreted as a budding romance. That's their fault. Well, it's kind of their fault. We'll get onto it. We'll get onto something in a moment. Similar to how some Marvel fans desired Bucky in the first Captain America, Chris Evans as Steve Rogers to be a couple. Well, they weren't, because they're both straight. Steve Rogers obviously in love with Peggy Carter, and we have seen Sebastian Stan on dates. He went on a date in the series Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he also went on dates pre going to war in Captain America: The First Avenger. So, but even if he hadn't, Bucky doesn't have to go around with a sign saying, "I'm actually straight" or "I'm actually gay." Just because a character doesn't do something within the limited time frame that they have on air to display where they stick their genitals doesn't mean that they go one way or another with their persuasion. But that's just by the by. So anywho, Anthony Mackie comes out with this, what I think is a really good answer. So many things are twisted and convoluted. There are so many things that people latch onto with their own devices to make themselves relevant and rational, he says. The idea of two guys being friends and loving each other in 2021 is a problem because of the exploitation of homosexuality. And he's absolutely right. I'm just going to stop it there for a moment, because do you know what says exploitation of the alphabet community? Nothing says it more than this month, Pride Month, which is meant to be a celebration of it. And all we see now is commercialization and the exploitation of the alphabet community for commercial gain. Something which should be just a nice event to celebrate from a community that used to be deeply rooted in in some terrible abuse, now accepted in the West. I mean, you wouldn't believe it from the way that some of them moan and groan, but fully accepted, and it's been accepted through tolerance that's just organically grown throughout the years. So much so that a lot of people can now take to social media, be completely protected with what they say, and scream and shout until they're blue in the face about how repressed they are without fear of any reprisal whatsoever. Nothing says tolerance more than that. So maybe some people on the other side of the fence need to look at their own behavior and how they're responding to tolerance. But yes, June is now essentially an exploitative month where corporations exploit the alphabet community for commercial gain, all under the banner of virtue, of course. You know, you can't do that anymore. Oh, hold on. It used to be that guys can be friends, we can hang out, and it was cool. You would always meet your friends at the bar, you know. You can't do that anymore because something as pure and beautiful as homosexuality has been exploited by people who are trying to rationalize themselves. I think he's saying, in other words, you just can't have two guys together anymore because people just want to read too much into it. We do see and hear on such a large scale now inclusion, diversity, and representation. In the Heights, the recent musical flop set in the Latino community, recently got attacked by the Latino community, claiming that the Latinos in the Latino film weren't Latino enough. They weren't. It's stupidity. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's the problem. And here it's the same. It's essentially saying you put two guys on the screen together now, and people are just going to go, oh, I need to see my homosexuality in those two characters. It's not the case, particularly when they are both straight. And again, there is a caveat which I'm going to get to later on. So something that's always been very important to me is showing a sensitive, masculine figure. There's nothing more masculine than being a superhero and flying around and letting women beat up your women for you. Sorry, beating people up. But there's nothing more sensitive than having emotional conversations and a kindred spirit friendship with someone that you care about and love. A platonic love that he's referring to. Yeah, he's kind of saying that, you know, the platonic buddy relationships that we used to see on screen are dying out because of the way that everyone wants to now ship it, exploit it, and turn it into something that doesn't exist. However, let me get to the caveat. However, it's not all the alphabet community's fault by any stretch of the imagination, because companies that put these shows out, they like to queerbait. They do like to queerbait, and there's no denying that. They will put men in situations where they insert some sort of innuendo, whether it be a physical innuendo or whether it be a verbal innuendo, and that purpose is to bait to the alphabet community. Now, is that Anthony Mackie's fault? No. Is that the character's fault? No, because the character is established as they're established, and if they're established straight, they're straight. You're born this way and all that kind of stuff. No. Where the blame lies is with the actual writers themselves, because they know exactly what they're doing, because they are trying to say to the alphabet community, oh, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But the characters aren't nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So they themselves are being disingenuous in the way that they're portraying the characters in an effort to snatch that alphabet community view, to kind of give them a bit of hope. I don't know if that's the right word. That these characters, you know, maybe. And that's... I'm a Christian channel now. That's doolally in the brain. But of course, because he said these things, and he does go on, but because he said these things, he's now getting attacked, cancelled, whatever you want to call it, on TwitTwat. We have a couple of examples here. Kind of rich for an actor to blame queer fans for latching onto scenes like these ones that were specifically included to bait them into watching the show. Well, okay, now I'll actually partly agree with you here. I do think they were put in as bait. But Roslin, it's not his fault. It's not his fault as an actor. It's the writers that put them in. It's the writers that put them in, and the director, etc., that wanted this in. But from Mackie's perspective, his character is straight. From Bucky's perspective, the character's straight. So this is bait. You know? Oh, you know, kind of rubbing around on each other there, and this this was just fucking freaking dumb. This scene here, where they just the woman wanted them to lock, you know, knees into testicles and stuff. That was just ridiculous. But that's not his fault. He's got an established character with established perimeters. Oh, okay, I'll just stick to watching the superhero TV shows and movies where there are gays in healthy and emotional relationships. Oh wait, that's right, there aren't any. If I want to imagine these fictional characters are gay, I will do so. Well, you are well within your rights to imagine it, but it's headcanon. It's headcanon. It's not actual canon. So you want to get frustrated that the characters are straight, that's your fault. That's your problem. You can imagine up here all day long, mate. That's your prerogative to do. But again, it's not Anthony Mackie's fault. If you want to call if there is a villain in this piece, if you want to call something out, call the studio out. Call Marvel out for queer baiting. I just did a video 2 days ago about Tim Drake, who's for 32 years has been a straight white male. Now they split him up from his longtime girlfriend, Stephanie Brown, and intimate that they're going to turn him gay for some reason. It won't sell any more comics. It's not going to enhance the alphabet community. It's about taking away from the cis, white, heteronormative that they despise so much within comics. And in TV, yeah, you do get some queer baiting. There are people, of course, that come to the defense. This just in, people mad that two male friends aren't actually effing each other and can't just accept that they read too deep into a platonic relationship. More weird Twitter stuff at 11 o'clock. Which is true. But there is a lot of kickback to this. But if you want to kick back, you got to kick back to the studio. You can't kick back to Anthony Mackie because his character is established. But as I said earlier, and I'll say again because we've gone on a little bit, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and this is what happens when you do bait characters out which don't conform to the narrative that you're disingenuously putting them out to. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.